Achieving billionaire status is something few humans can ever hope to achieve. While the 10-figure mark has traditionally been reserved for only people at the top of their game in business, in recent years, the door to $1 billion has been opened for more people in different businesses, namely basketball. Today, we're going to be covering not only the first active NBA player to become a billionaire, but 5 more who are well on their way. At the end of the list, we'll also cover the young dynamic duo who could make it there one day. Stick around to the end of the video to find out exactly who we're talking about. First, and the only active NBA player to ever become a billionaire is the one and only LeBron James. This should be no surprise to anybody following basketball over the last 10 years. Even for people who have never watched an NBA game, it's understood that LeBron James is at the top of the field. The man has transcended his status as just a basketball player, and his billionaire status proves his bona fide mogul status. It was announced on the Forbes Twitter account in June of this year that LeBron had broken the $1 billion threshold, becoming the first active NBA player to make the billionaires list. It was estimated that James earned over $385 million from his multiple contracts with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, and Los Angeles Lakers. James also has numerous business ventures, including the Spring Hill Company, which reportedly earned him another $300 million, and being a 1% owner of the Fenway Sports Group, which is worth yet another $90 million added to LeBron's worth. This is all not to mention his brand deals and numerous other investments, which have netted the multi-time MVP a cool $1 billion. While LeBron was the first active NBA player to achieve this milestone, will he be the last? For the rest of this video, we'll be looking at other players who are well on their way to that $1 billion milestone. Next, the first potential billionaire we'll be taking a look at is James Harden. In recent years, Harden has easily become one of the highest earning players in the entire NBA. The Philadelphia 76ers signed the man to a $68 million contract for only 2 years. On top of this, it's reported that Harden has taken home over $250 million across his entire career. Aside from his earnings on the court, Harden is one of the most widely sponsored athletes on the planet. His biggest deal easily came from Adidas, who sponsored the athlete with a 13-year deal worth approximately $200 million. This is the second biggest deal in the company's history, with only Lionel Messi making more off an Adidas endorsement than Harden. Harden is also a wise investor. He put some of his money into pro soccer teams Houston Dynamo and Houston Dash, and was able to flip his shares for a sizable profit, while still maintaining a significant stake in the teams. However, his biggest investment to date came from the sports drink Body Armor. Harden's stake in the company was worth $60 million. Several years later, the brand was purchased by Coca-Cola for $8 billion, which netted Harden some ludicrous profit. Up next on our list is Kevin Durant. Another player who ranks among the highest paid in the sport is Kevin Durant. Since the beginning of his career, every contract Durant has signed has been lucrative. Throughout his career in the NBA, the player has earned approximately $350 million from his contracts alone. Like the rest of the entries on this list, Durant is a smart investor. Some of his most notable investments have been Postmates, Whoop, and Coinbase. With Coinbase alone having an IPO valued at $100 billion, Durant reportedly took $61 million from his investment. To top it all off, Durant is also a heavily sponsored athlete. His 10-year contract with Nike alone has been valued at $280 million. If you add up all these numbers, it's obvious Durant is well on his way to billionaire status. Coming up next is Steph Curry. While the last 2 entries on our list make good money for their contracts, this next entry is the highest paid player in the entire NBA. The Golden State Warriors reportedly pay Curry over $53 million a season. This means Curry earns $500,000 for every game he plays. One of Curry's biggest endorsements is with a company he owns a share of. Curry is sponsored by Under Armour and invested in them, which earns him roughly $40 million a year. This is not to mention Curry's own production company, which currently deals with Sony Pictures Entertainment. If the star can keep up his momentum, he will surely reach billionaire status before long. Next up, we have Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is the first entry on our list that's an active teammate with LeBron himself. Could we see the Lakers have 2 active billionaires on their court anytime soon? Westbrook has certainly done well for himself with his contracts over the years. His 5-year deal with Oklahoma City was worth over $200 million, and his total career earnings were well over $300 million. His endorsements also earn him an extra $26 million every year. He would earn the highest paid Jordan contract in the brand's history. To top it off, Westbrook is invested in multiple businesses, including Varo Bank and Triller, which could all someday help push him over the billion-dollar threshold. Next, we'll be taking a look at Kyrie Irving. Easily having the lowest net worth on our list so far at $90 million, we still think Kyrie will one day become a billionaire. He is one of the NBA's most endorsed athletes, with massive deals with Nike, 2K Sports, and Foot Locker. Nike pays Irving $5 to $10 million because of his signature shoe with the brand. He has also earned over $230 million across all his contracts in the NBA. Although his net worth is nowhere near $1 billion, Irving is invested in some very fast-growing companies, and with a few smart moves, he could be right up there with LeBron in no time. Who is the young NBA duo that could be well on their way to billionaire status? Well, all the players we've covered so far are bona fide veterans in the league, two young upstarts who could very well reach billionaire status before their careers come to a close. The young pair both recently signed multi-year contracts to the same team, who are likely hoping they will bring them to the promised land of an NBA championship. Of course, we're talking about the stars of the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram. Like Jordan and Pippen or Shaq and Kobe, Zion and Ingram could be one of the most iconic duos in the sport's history. The pair still has a long way to go before they can be rightfully compared to some of the all-time greats, but they're certainly off to a great start. So much so that the duo may be billionaires before their time in the NBA is through. Here's why. Why do we think Zion and Ingram will become billionaires? The key factor in both of these players' earning potential is that they are just so young. Zion is only 22 years old and is still playing on his rookie contract.
To begin the second, and turnovers getting flushed on the other end.
Mind you, a rookie contract worth approximately $240 million. He's also working with a $75 million 7-year Nike deal. If all goes right in the young star's career over the next couple of seasons, it's possible he could become a billionaire based on just the renewal of these two contracts alone. At 22, it's reported that he already has $300 million. While Ingram is slightly older than his counterpart, he is still only 25 and far from his peak as a player. He has reportedly already earned $200 million across his short career. If he becomes more strategic with his investments and endorsements, he could cross that billion-dollar mark before the end of his career. While both of these players are off to an incredibly promising start, only time will tell if they can maintain the momentum that has started their careers. While becoming a billionaire as an active player is a feat achieved only by one man in the history of the NBA, these two may have the best shot at duplicating it. If they both do, comparisons to Jordan, Pippen, or Shaq and Kobe may be deserved. Who will be the next active NBA player to become a billionaire? Are there any missed players who will cross that threshold sooner rather than later? Are there any young players you think deserve to be in this conversation? Are there any other athletes outside basketball that you foresee becoming billionaires? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.